Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the International Man of Mystery voted Best Hair in Congress from Texas, Congressman Louie Gohmert.
Well, it's great to be here at CPAC, and thank you for being here. Don't you just love our president, right? He's doing an awesome job. And of course, on Capitol Hill yesterday, we had Michael Cohen come up and talk about him, and talking about stuff going back like 2011 and all. You know, it reminded me going back before the election in that fall when somebody had a tape of then candidate Donald Trump, and he was saying some things that weren't all that great. And people ask me, reporters, how can you say you're a Christian, how can you support the comments he made? And my comment was that I don't necessarily support the comments he made, but actually the Apostle Paul addressed this. He said, when I was a child, I talked like a child, but when I became an adult, I set aside childish things. And I said back then, when that was recorded, he was really a friend of Democrats like Bill Clinton. And so he talked like Democrats like Bill Clinton. And then when he became a full Republican, he put aside those childish things. And now we have an awesome president, right? So, well, in 2016 in September, then candidate Donald Trump and I were talking privately, just the two of us. And I finished by saying, and look, I majored in history. I've never quit studying history. And the bottom line is, the presidents that were said to be the best presidents we've ever, smartest, they didn't do well in international diplomacy. But those that were said to be crazy, like Teddy Roosevelt or even Ronald Reagan. I see, you remember Saturday Night Live? They'd have Reagan walking around with his finger out going, where's the red button? I want to launch some missiles. I said, it actually helps if you're perceived as being a little bit crazy. And he said, that's what they say I am. And I said, that's why you could well be the best president we ever had when it comes to international diplomacy. And I think we're seeing that borne out. But a year and a half ago, I told our House Republican leaders, here's what we got to do if we're going to keep the majority. Number one, we got to pass some funding for a wall. Number two, we got to secure the border. Number three, we got to prevent asylum for anybody that comes in illegally. Number four, I beg for a vote on the House floor that would say, we in the House know that the 14th Amendment never intended to give citizenship to somebody who's here illegally or born to parents here illegally. That's part of the history of that 14th Amendment. Fifth, with all these $50 contributions going to Democrats, maybe coming from billionaires, we don't know. Every dollar needs to be accounted for. We need to have that. And also, we need to go back to numbered paper ballots. So you can't win by having the Soros-funded, hackers or other hackers. We got to stop that. And what did we do? We didn't do what we promised we would do. We lost the majority, and now we're in for a fight for this country. But 2 years ago, Republican House and Senate leaders told our president, look, this is a repeal of Obamacare. It didn't repeal anything. And now we've even had House Republican leaders, and Karl Rove was just in my district telling people, the Freedom Caucus is the one that cost us not repealing Obamacare. That's garbage. You go back, you check the bill, you find out there was no repeal of anything in that bill. It gave more power to Health and Human Services, and that was supposed to fix things. It was an abomination of a bill. It was not what we promised. The Freedom Caucus stopped it, thank goodness. And then we passed a better bill that repealed some things, but the Senate couldn't pass anything. If it weren't for the Freedom Caucus, we would have had Obamacare permanently, no chance of ever fixing it because of the damage that we as Republicans did. We stopped it. And it was only because the Freedom Caucus, Mark Meadows' leadership, We got a vote on finally funding the wall, but it was the week before Christmas. Come to find out, our president told for 2 years, we can't pass a bill that funds the wall. We can't. We finally got it to the floor, but it was a week before Christmas. It was too late. We passed it. And we can do that again. Now candidates are being recruited and told, we'll help you, but you can't join the Freedom Caucus. They're a real problem. Garbage. We need more conservatives in Congress. We need people who will keep their promises. And let me just tell you, we can't allow Orwell to have been right about everything but the year. We can't. We have got to stop what is moving on. This green socialist manifesto has got to stop. As we all know, you can vote your way into socialism, but you got to shoot your way out. We can't allow ourselves to get there. So let me just say, when the day comes that a majority of Americans believe there was no God that blessed America, there was no God who streamed grace and blessings our way, then the blessings will stop, the protective hand will go away, and we will lose the greatest country ever in the history of the world. We can't let that happen. Thank you for caring. Thanks for being here. God bless you, everyone. Thank you.